My rant today is about people who always have their face in their phones. I'm gonna break it down for you. So here's why I feel like I am validated in ranting about this, is because my entire business is based on social media. So like, of all the people that you know, I would certainly be someone who should have their face in their phone all the time, and I do. Don't get me wrong. I get in trouble for it all the time. And trouble is a term I use loosely. I get a lot of side eye from my spouse, and Dean's kind of like, okay, like, focus, do the person to person time. And if you've listened to podcasts where Dean and I have spoken about this, like, I've gotten better over time. And truly, I find I'm really conscious of, how I am making people feel when they're in my presence. And I'm really hyper aware that, like, this is how I make my income. And so, Amanda, like, there's a time for work and then there's a time for socializing. So recently, I've had a couple of encounters with people that work in the industry. Now, I'm not going to name drop because I love these people. I really do. It's just, I think sometimes a good friend calls you out on your bullshit. You know what I mean? And so here I was with some lovely people, I was hosting a situation. And one of my friends in particular could not remove her face from her phone. And I'm wondering, there's a time where things are happening and life is busy and maybe you're dealing with like an emergency. But when I know that none of that is happening and it's just habitual, like you're always texting someone, your face is always in your phone, at what point do we get to call you out and say, you're just being rude and you're lacking social skills? Now, I'm highlighting people perhaps that are like industry related because I'm finding it's even more so. Like, I know that your face should be in your phone because mine is in my phone. We have the same job, but somehow I'm able to recognize that this moment in time is one where, like, we need to be face to face and we should be chatting and we should be talking and we should be engaging. Do you know what I'm saying? I find it really difficult, and I'm curious to know, like, if you've encountered people who have done that. And I feel like just the more that I sort of navigate through life, it's just really important to me how I make people feel when they're in my presence. And it's also really important to me that if people like yourself, people who watch me regularly or pay attention to my podcast or my Instagram or whatever, meet me in real life, feel like it's the same person. You'll probably find I swear a lot more. I say a lot of bad words. Oh my gosh. Last night I was at an event and an amazing person who watches my stuff ended up attending this event. It was a free event and we got to chatting, and after I left I was like, I swore a lot. Now, fair enough, I did have like a couple of drinks, but not enough. Like, I'm a grown person, a beer or two is not gonna like impact me, but I say the F word a lot when there are no children in the room, so that might surprise you if you were to encounter me in real time. But the only time I took out my phone was when I had to post some sponsored posts, because it was something I had to like take the photos and post them in real time. That's not always what happens. Like, a lot of times when I'm attending an event, I will, like, you have to run it past the brand and there's an approval process, but this was like pre-approved. But actually, I also made a point, like with the people that I was with, I was like, can you excuse me for a moment? I just need to post this. I'll be right back. I kind of excuse myself from the situation and then come back in. But I'm not doing one of these because I feel like that is so damn rude. And it makes people feel that they're not important. It makes people feel less than. And I just think we need to be really aware of it. I think that it's a lame ass excuse to say that's my job, and it's a lame excuse to not pay attention, or just, it's lazy, and it's hurtful. And honestly, when I experienced that with this friend of mine, I enjoy her company, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna go out of my way to do that again. You know what I mean? Because I just find it's exhausting. It's exhausting, and I think I'm worthy of a person's time. And so I guess I'm speaking on this from a very personal experience, but I just think there's a time and place for everything. And on that too, it kind of makes me think of like how our kids might feel when we're constantly having our face in our phones. Mom, look at me. Mom, look at me. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta put this down. And I have found one of the keys to my success is to really be aware of like how I'm allocating my time. And so I try to do things like, okay, I'm doing an hour of work right now, and then lunch, and then I don't know, relaxation or something. So for today example, that's a weird sentence. Today, for example, it's summer break. The kids don't have camp. It's like a Tuesday. So I said, oh, I've got a lot of work to do, and I'm a little tired because I was out last night and I had a long drive home. And I thought, well, Esme's a little tired too. Jack is out with daddy. You know what, do you want to have lunch with me, Esme? So I made us lunch. Obviously I'd make her lunch, but I made lunch and we sat together and we ate it and we chatted, and I kept my phone in the kitchen until the very end when she wanted to look at dogs. More to come in a later date about the dog situation, but I just think it's really important to be aware of it because it is way too easy to fall into a routine of it's fine, it's socially acceptable, everybody's on their phone. Everybody is not on their phone. And I think what can happen is the more time that we spend with our faces in our phone, the less time we spend interacting with people in real moments, you start to lose that skill. And I suppose that's where I'm going, is that we can create and curate this idea, this content, that we're putting on the internet, and create this ideal of who we are as people. But if I meet you and it's like cotton candy, and you put cotton candy in your mouth, candy floss, and it just like melts and it's so not satisfying, like I want to like bite into something and it's not there, I'm going to be disappointed. And I think whether you are a person creating content within social media like myself, or if you are a person who just interacts online and just has a great Instagram that you share with your friends and family, are you the same person? And are you going to be dedicating the same amount of time to your friends and family in real life and strangers that you encounter as you would kind of the world you've created online? And it's something that I think about often. It's something that I consider because I think, like most people, question what I'm doing, with my career and the impact I'm having on the world. And it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And so I would hope that should we ever have an encounter in real time, that I make you feel as important as my best friend, as I do when I message you back on Instagram or YouTube or wherever. Like, it's genuine. It comes from a genuine place. So that's my little rant for today. I'd love to know what you think about all of this. Have you had experiences like this with people? Have you had to kind of like give a little shake to somebody in your life because they can't get their face out of their phone? Have somebody had to do that to you? Because I think maybe that's why I'm so aware of it, is that I realized how much of that bad behavior I was actually doing, and how I was making people that were very important to me feel less than because I wasn't giving them the same amount of attention. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And I would love to know, comment below, what would you like me to rant about next? Expect another video in August. And I'm not quite sure like the scheduling yet. You'll have to bear with me. Once September rolls around, we will be far more like on a routine. But I'll be here and showing up for you as I promised. And that's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.